Alrighty, our participant count is going up, so I will get us started. Welcome everyone to the Brooklyn Technical High School Virtual College Fair. We're so excited to have you participating in this event. We have some fantastic schools here with us today. Each will have 6 minutes to share more about their institution, but we'll be around for the entire session to answer questions. My name is Chelsea and I will be your facilitator. Before we get started, a few housekeeping items. Your camera and microphone are off, so the panelists cannot see or hear you. You can use the Q&A button on your screen to type questions at any time. This is one of many sessions happening, so be sure to check the schedule on the website. This presentation is being recorded and will be available at strivescan.com/BrooklynTech. And now I'm going to turn it over to our first presentation, and that is the University of Pittsburgh. Hi, Jordan, I'm so sorry to interrupt you. I don't think we can hear you. I don't, are you muted? I don't think we can hear. Do you want to try restarting Zoom and I'll bring you back in? We'll do another session or another presentation. And I'll bring you back in. Okay, sounds good. Thanks, Jordan. Okay, sorry about that. Alrighty, so next up we have Binghamton University. Binghamton, are you ready to go?
Yes. Hi, everyone. Can you hear me okay? All right. I'm going to go ahead and get started. Hi, everyone. My name is Joyce Wong. I'm an admissions counselor with Binghamton University. I am also an alum of the school, and so I'm looking forward to tell you a little bit about the opportunities that are awaiting you here at a school like Binghamton. And so we are known as the #1 public university in New York, and to give us some context of Binghamton University and everything that we offer, I'm just going to give you a little aerial tour of our campus. So Binghamton University is located around 3.5 to 4 hours away from New York City in central New York. We have a beautiful campus with about 290 acres of land. This is the center of campus where everything happens. We have lots going on, and our students really find their niche when they're at a school like Binghamton. We have 140 majors, minors, and fields of studies for students to choose from. We have over 450 clubs and organizations for students to be a part of. We have facilities that allow students to find their community, including these residential communities throughout our campus. We have 6 residential communities. They're like little neighborhoods on campus for students to really find their home away from home on a residential campus like Binghamton. We also have a lot of additional facilities beyond the residential communities, including our 190-acre nature preserve that students can use for research purposes and recreational use. We are an R1 research university. Throughout this greater Binghamton region, we also have our university downtown center, our innovative technology complex, our School of Pharmacy, which houses our health science campus. And so as you can see, Binghamton University has a lot of opportunities in many different fields. Again, 140 majors and minors and fields of studies. At the end of the day, all of our Binghamton University students, though, come back to main campus, right? This is where everything happens, and our students really feel like they have the opportunities that allow them to succeed throughout their 4 years of college. And so we have probably something that you're interested in, whether that be the sports, music and arts, languages, sciences, etc. I'll touch a little bit more about the 6 schools that we do have to offer. Binghamton University is also a Division I school. And so what I hope that you're getting from everything that I'm sharing you, all these quick facts, is that Binghamton University, we have a lot of different opportunities for a lot of different students. We embrace this body of diversity on our campus. Being that we are a public institution, we really have this space for all students to thrive and to find the ways that they are going to exceed in everything they do, excel in everything they do, and then continue moving on past their years of college. And so a little bit about Binghamton by the numbers. Statistically, we are a school of roughly 18,000 students. We have about 14,000 of those are undergrad, though. So our undergraduate students make up a large population of our campus community. We are a pretty popular school. We see over 40,000 applications a year, and we really only have room to enroll about 3,000 students. But for the students that do join us at Binghamton University, kind of off of that community aspect that I was touching at before, we see a 92% retention rate, which means 92% of students who join us for their first year at Binghamton University continue to stay with us into their following years. And that is, again, due in part to the fact that they're finding their niche on campus. They're finding the ways that Binghamton University is preparing them for success, supporting them in all of their endeavors and everything that they want to do in their 4 years of college. And we're propelling them forward to whatever that looks like next. Academically, the typical Binghamton student is quite bright. We had a mid 50% of 93 to 98 a GPA, and then we are test optional next year, but the SAT and ACT scores, just to give you a little perspective, this is the mid 50% again. So 25% of students did score lower and 25% higher. So this is a lot of random information, but hopefully it gives you a little bit more insight into what Binghamton University is all about. Just a little bit more about, about our schools. As I had mentioned earlier, these are 6 schools that we do offer, which house our 140 majors and minors in fields of studies. I'd highly encourage you to take a look into all of them. We have our liberal arts school, our public affairs school, our nursing school, engineering, and business school, all with really strong high reputations in New York State and across the country. And I can talk a lot more, but just for the sake of time, I will close this out there. And if you have any questions, I can put my email in the chat so we can continue to keep up the conversations as we move forward in your application process. Thank you.
Thank you so much. All right, let's try this again. University of Pittsburgh is next.
All right, can you hear me?
Yes,
All right,
awesome.
perfect. Sorry about that. I'm going to go ahead and share my screen. All right. So back for round 2. Once again, my name is Jordan Winfrey. I operate as the New York State-based regional recruiter for the Office of Admissions and Financial Aid. A little bit about myself. I'm a proud Pitt alum. So I graduated from Pitt back in 2013. I'm born and raised, and I'm based out of Rochester, New York. So I live in upstate New York. My main jobs are primarily to assist with the application and admissions process, provide guidance and information, and most importantly, advocate for students throughout the admissions process. So you have my contact information here. I'll go ahead and put my contact information once again in the chat when I'm done. But the University of Pittsburgh, of course, we are settled in the city of Pittsburgh, which is in the western part of Pennsylvania. Pittsburgh is comprised of close to 90 different neighborhoods altogether, and every neighborhood has their own sort of identity. So we're actually settled in the Oakland neighborhood of the city of Pittsburgh. We share Oakland with Carnegie Mellon University and Carlow University. So really this sort of inclusive college town like type environment, which our students like. You see, we have the best of both worlds. You get the urban feel because we have a lot of tall buildings on campus. We also have a lot of green space as well. So we definitely have that traditional campus feel also. We have close to 20,000 undergraduates. So we're considered to be a medium-sized urban campus. So we're not too big, we're not too small. We're sort of right in between, which is how we like it. So I like to describe the University of Pittsburgh as being a well-rounded university. We do a number of different things really well. Our students come from all over the world to attend Pitt for a number of different reasons and a number of different programs. We have over 100 majors to choose from altogether. And a lot of our programs are nationally ranked. So again, we do a lot of things really well. As an incoming freshman, students are able to apply to one of 6 what we call freshman entry-level schools listed right here on the screen. We have the Dietrich School of Arts and Sciences, the Swanson School of Engineering, the College of Business Administration, the School of Computing and Information, the School of Nursing, and the School of Public Health. So for students who are applying to Pitt, they have to choose from one of these 6 initial schools to apply directly to. We also have 5 what's called upper level division schools, and they're all listed right here on the screen. So the way these schools work, students would start traditionally in the Dietrich School of Arts and Sciences for up to 2 years. After that, they would apply to transfer into the school which houses their respective interests, depending on the program. So let's say, for instance, there's a student that's interested in our pharmacy program. That's a 6-year program altogether. Students would do 2 years in the Dietrich School of Arts and Sciences, followed by an additional 4 years in the School of Pharmacy. It's a 6-year program altogether, and they'll be graduating with their PharmD degree. So depending on the program, there's going to be different completion requirements and timeframes. Moving right along to student life, we have a number of different things that students are involved with. We have over 600 different student clubs and organizations to choose from. As far as sports are concerned, we are a Division I institute. We have a number of different varsity sports altogether. Most popular programs being our men's basketball and our football team. Season tickets for the football games are only $25 for students, which is a great deal. We actually play at Heinz Field, which is the same stadium that the Steelers play at. So it's a great time. We have a number of different internship opportunities. We actually have a 100% internship guarantee program available for all of our students. Of course, we have co-op opportunities. We think that it's really important for students to be prepared for a global workforce. So we have over 350 study abroad programs that span to over 75 countries. So a number of different things that students are involved with on campus. Moving right along to our application process. The first thing I always explain is that we practice rolling admissions. Rolling admissions means that you can apply to us at any time. There is no deadline for students applying to us for general admissions purposes. I always encourage students to apply before November of their senior year, just because seats tend to fill up pretty fast and it is competitive. So get your applications in early. There's 5 parts of the application that we're looking for. We're looking for the online application itself. We're looking for a $55 application fee. We are going to be requiring a self-reported academic record, which is part of our application. So you can go ahead and submit your own grades and your own coursework. We are test optional, so you have the opportunity to apply with or without test scores. Completely up to you. We do not have a preference for students applying one way versus another. Just want to make sure that you apply however you feel best. As far as supplemental information is concerned, we are going to be looking at either the Common App essay and or a personal statement. And that's pretty much it. So again, my contact information is listed right here again. I would highly encourage you guys to go on our website. We list all of our virtual visiting options as well as in-person visiting options online. So check us out. I'm sure you're going to love what you find.
Thanks so much. Next up, we have Haverford College.
Let me just share my screen and then I'll get started. All right, so my name is Christina. I'm one of the admission counselors at Haverford. And Haverford is a small private liberal arts college. We're about 8 miles outside of Philadelphia, and we were originally founded in 1833 by Quakers. So we're no longer a religious institution, but what that means is that a lot of the Haverford experience is really inspired by the Quaker values that founded us. And so that means we really value things like student voice, ethical leadership, and we also value integrity, respect, trust. And what this means for our experience itself is that we have a few different things to really implement student voice and center that in our experience, both in education and socially. And the first of this is something that we call shared governance. So at Haverford, shared governance means that students are involved in the decisions that are made to run our campus. At Haverford, like at many other schools around the US, there are somewhere between 40 to 60 committees each year that get together and make decisions, from hiring new faculty to planning the strategic plan that will guide the next 5 to 10 years of what Haverford does. And students are part of every single one of those committees. So students will sit next to faculty and staff, next to maybe the president of the college, board members, and along with them through a process of consensus, contribute to those decisions and have an equal voice in what happens in our community. Another element of student voice at Haverford is our honor code. So you might think of an honor code as a list of rules. That's not what our honor code is. It's a framework for how we want our community to come together and to be able to interact both in academics and outside of the classroom. And our honor code is entirely student run. So the honor council runs the sort of day-to-day aspects of the honor code. And every year, all of the student body comes together in the spring for a meeting that we call plenary. And plenary is an opportunity for students to change the honor code and to decide what things that they want to change about the student body, about the whole community. One kind of cool aspect of the honor code is that it means that there are no proctors for exams, and exams are all self-scheduled. You might have a professor give you a quiz and say, you're going to finish this in the next week, and then you're going to bring it back for our next class. And you can do it in your dorm room, on your bed. You could do it in the library, because we really trust students, and the honor code enables us to make that present across all elements of campus. So I want to talk a little bit about academics now. And one of the really important parts of Haverford's academic experience is our senior thesis. Every single student at Haverford, regardless of what they are majoring in or what their interests are, will complete a senior thesis. And this is really an opportunity for students to go really deep into what their interests are and take initiative in their own education and deciding what the trajectory of their experience is. So this culminating project is one that looks very different for every single student, right? If you are a chemistry major, maybe you're in the lab doing research and writing that up for your senior thesis. If you're an English major, you're probably reading literary theory and applying that to books or other literary works. And if you're an art major, for example, maybe you are creating an exhibition that will be shown on campus. But for everyone, the senior thesis really gives you research skills and gives you an opportunity to guide your own educational experience at Haverford. And so we have many different majors across many different academic departments. And unfortunately, I don't have time to talk about all of them. So instead, I want to talk about our academic centers. And our academic centers take place outside of the academic departments. So these centers work as sort of a way for students to get involved in academics outside of the classroom, in addition to their majors and that programming. And we have a Center for Humanities and Arts, a Center for Sciences, and the Center for Peace and Global Citizenship. And each of these centers, in addition to sponsoring activities on campus, bringing speakers, and having other discussion groups and things like that, they also sponsor research and internships. And so you can do a wide variety of different things. But for example, when I was a student, I interned in Mexico City in an organization that works with migrants and refugees, because I was taking classes about those issues. And that was something that I was really interested in and wanted to be able to do an internship about. And there are many, many other opportunities as well, depending on what you're interested in. And the last thing I want to talk about for our academic experience is we are part of a consortium. So we're part of a group of schools that includes Bryn Mawr College, Swarthmore College, and the University of Pennsylvania. And the benefit of the consortium is that we are a small liberal arts college with a really close-knit community, but through the consortium, we also have access to the resources of a much larger group of schools. So at Haverford, during your 4 years, you take a total of 32 classes, but you have access to over 2,000 classes through the consortium, which means you have lots and lots of options. You can explore many different things beyond what is offered on solely Haverford's campus. And the consortium also goes beyond just academics. There are many opportunities to be involved in different events, to interact with professors from different campuses, but then also to be involved in extracurricular groups that span the different campuses. And so that's something that is really important for all the students at Haverford. And of course, there's much more about Haverford, and I don't have time to talk about it all right now, but I really encourage you to reach out and to go on our website. And if you're interested in Haverford, we do offer virtual interviews, and you can do those anytime, starting from the spring of your junior year through the application deadline.
Thank you so much. Alrighty, next up we have Adelphi University.
Okay, hello everyone. My name is Leslie. I am one of the assistant directors of admissions here at Adelphi University. And I'm very excited to be here with you all today. Welcome, and thank you for welcoming me. So our campus is located in Garden City, New York, which is in Long Island, very borderline Queens, very conveniently located. We are in a suburban neighborhood, but close enough to New York City to where you have access to all the amazing things that New York City has to offer, including internships and other professional opportunities, of course, as well as the airports in the area, so amazing studying abroad opportunities. You see in this slide featured here are students, which are obviously a huge part of our campus. And there's so many different ways that our students can get involved. Our nursing labs, which I'll touch a little bit because nursing is definitely one of our most popular and competitive programs. And then just like stress on experiential learning here at Adelphi. So that's why we have that stock exchange room featured here. We really put a focus on allowing our students to have a hands-on experience with whatever field they're studying, and whether it be business, nursing, as you can see, these are simulation labs, as I mentioned, or, student teaching, or just anything, any type of hands-on experience that our students are able to apply. We give them those opportunities. So we're a medium-sized school. We have about 5,000 undergraduate students and 3,000 graduate students. Again, we're very conveniently located, so we have real easy access to our surrounding airports in New York, so JFK and LaGuardia. So we have 64 countries represented on campus and 43 states represented on campus, and this really shines through in the different events that we host on campus, the different clubs and organizations that are available for students to join, even the food that is served, and the holidays that are celebrated here. So we really make sure that all of our students feel included and represented at Adelphi. And while all of that holds true, our average class size is 21 students. So we really put a focus on that personable relationship between students and professors. So we have a 10-to-1 student to faculty ratio. So your professors are going to know your name. They're going to be available for any assistance that you might need inside and outside of the classroom. As I mentioned earlier, students get really involved on campus. We have over 50 organizations that our students can join, ranging from all types of things like multicultural clubs and organizations, as well as professional ones. We have Greek Life on campus that you can join. We're a Division II sports school, so there's always amazing and really fun sports games going on. We always have giveaways, we have food trucks. One of my favorite events is our Relay for Life, which is just this really big cancer awareness event. It actually just happened this past Friday. So we raise money and put it all together. So again, there's always things happening on campus and so many different ways for you to really get involved and kind of step outside of your comfort zone and take on new leadership opportunities. We have a number of majors and minors that you can study here at Adelphi as well. Some of our more popular schools are nursing, psychology, and business. And we are a liberal arts school, so that means that you're going to be able to take different courses in subject areas outside of just whatever you're studying, to allow for a more well-rounded education. We also have a number of signature and support programs to make sure that our students are, of course, receiving the best education and experience that they can here at Adelphi. To quickly go over our application process, we are currently test optional and will be up until spring 24, I believe now. But we take a holistic approach when we're reviewing our applications. So this is a list of the deadlines, even though we are rolling admissions, so these are just suggested deadlines, as well as a list of the requirements to apply. And we're really taking a look at everything. We like to see that students are involved in their high school. We're going to take a look at what your recommenders had to say about you. We want to see that, you know, you're doing community service. We want to see what you're sharing with us in your personal essays. So definitely make sure that when you're submitting an application, you're kind of submitting a nice, well-rounded picture of who you are as a student. And then we do have automatic consideration for academic scholarship, as well as financial aid available for our students, of course. And these are some of our social media handles, as well as just how to stay in contact as well. And just to kind of go over again the requirements, we are kind of looking at a GPA average of about an 88, which is about a 3.3 or B+, and then SAT scores of about 1200 or 24, 25 ACT. Again, holistic approach, so don't be discouraged if you don't meet those. That's just to kind of give you all an idea of the requirements. And with that, thank you all once again for allowing me to join you for this presentation. Definitely follow us on social media. We post a lot of fun stuff, and good luck with your college search.
Thank you. Okay, next up we have Bowdoin College.
All right, 1 second. Okay, does that work? Can everyone see that?
Looks great.
Perfect, thank you. All right, so hi everyone, my name is Julia O'Rourke. I'm an admissions counselor at Bowdoin College. And like many of my colleagues, I'm also an alum of Bowdoin, so I can speak a little bit to that experience too. But I'm happy to be back in coastal Maine, which is where Bowdoin is located. We're a small liberal arts college, and I want to focus first on our location because I think that really helps draw out a lot of our values as well. So we've got a bit of a Venn diagram here for you. This is really just meant to show that Bowdoin and Maine are truly intertwined. So Bowdoin has existed for longer than Maine has even been a state. Bowdoin was around back when Maine was originally Massachusetts, but we really hold our Maine values close. So Mainers tend to be really welcoming and hardworking, a bit gritty and very humble. And those are all qualities that we in admissions are looking for in students. So if these sound like values that you hold or values that you aspire to hold, then Bowdoin's community might be a good fit for you. So we're located in Brunswick, Maine, which is a small but mighty town of about 20,000 people. And we're right on the water, which I'll get to in a little bit, but that makes for a lot of really amazing academic and recreational opportunities. So Brunswick is quite bustling, even though it's a bit small. It sort of has your classic New England small town feel to it. And what's really special is that we have a great connection with the town. So we'll have host families who are town residents who engage with our students. We frequent the cafes and the restaurants downtown. There's just a lot to do here, but if you do want to expand beyond Brunswick, Portland, which is Maine's biggest city, is only 30 minutes away. You can take a bus, train, and then upperclassmen are welcome to have cars on campus as well. And then Boston is only 2 hours away, and our train is located conveniently right on the corner of campus. So it's very seamless to get down to Boston. But if you're not looking for the urban side of things and you want to get into nature, that is going to be extremely easy as well. I mentioned Bowdoin's coastline access. And I really think that's special for several reasons. But namely, we have some additional campus areas that we can send students to for research and other purposes. So my favorite of all of them is our Coastal Studies Center. It's 118 acres and it's about 15 minutes from Bowdoin's main campus. This is a picture of it. It's absolutely gorgeous. There are walking trails, there's a sailing center, there's a dock to swim off of, and then a wet lab and dorms and tons of other things to do. We also have another research center up in Kent Island, which is off the Bay of Fundy in Canada. And that area experiences the most extreme tides in the world. So it makes for amazing research. Obviously, that's scientifically centered, but we do send up artists in residence and creative writers every summer as well. So regardless of what subject area of interest you have, you might find yourself up there for the summer. I do want to talk a little bit about outcomes. I think that it's a very fair question when students pursue a liberal arts education. What am I going to do after this? How can I use my English major? I was an English major, by the way, fully support. But many of our graduates work at or founded or sit on the boards of some of the most impactful organizations in the world. These highlighted here are just a few. I guess the point of this is more to show you that a Bowdoin education is truly adaptable and flexible. So we're not necessarily asking you just to go off and achieve, we're also asking you to do it creatively and with a sense of social responsibility. So we're proud to be affiliated with many companies that our Bowdoin grads are working for or started because they're taking this lens that focuses on the common good to their work in these fields. So a little bit about applying to Bowdoin. We are test optional and we are need blind. So I'll start with the financial side of things because it's really fundamental to who we are. Bowdoin is need blind because we don't want to consider your ability to pay. We want to be able to just admit you regardless of your income. And then once we've admitted you, we will meet your full demonstrated need. If you want to get a sense for what that would be, I definitely recommend using our calculators on our website. The best part of this is we're going to meet that need without packaging any loans. So you won't have to worry about what you do after college because this will all have been grant money that you don't need to pay back. As for the test optional piece, we have been test optional since 1969. We were the first college to become test optional. And I say that not to be like, rah, rah, we were first, and more to say that this is just so foundational to who we are as a school and as an admissions office. No one in our admissions office has an institutional memory of requiring testing because none of us were alive when Bowdoin started to go test optional. So we absolutely can evaluate your academic preparedness without test scores. We will use your essay, your personal statement / essay, your supplement if you do it. We'll use your letters of recommendation, your transcript. We have plenty to go on and we really don't need your test scores. If you do send your test scores though, we will consider them. So I recommend looking at our median scores on the website just to see if you're in that ballpark. About half of our first year students didn't send their test scores. So hopefully that instills some confidence that we truly do admit students regardless of if they've sent them. So I want to make sure that I don't go over time. I'll be sure to put my information in the chat. But I guess my main take home point is that Bowdoin is a really caring, kind, tight-knit community where people support each other and are pursuing all sorts of subjects in a pursuit of the greater good. So if you have questions, please be back in touch and your admissions rep will be on the website if you want to talk to them more specifically. Thank you so much.
Awesome, thank you. All right, at this point, I'd like to welcome everyone back on screen. We're going to go through a couple questions here so we can hear from you each one more time. All righty, so what advice would you give someone going through this college search process, either now or sometime in the near future? And we'll jump back to the University of Pittsburgh to get us started.
Thanks, Chelsea. I think my biggest piece of advice is to give yourself grace when going through the application process. Understand that we're here to help. Do not be afraid to reach out. We understand. This is a process both for you and for us on our side of the desk as well. So we're all working together to try to make sure you find the right fit.
Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. Sorry about that. Okay, next up we have Binghamton University. What is your advice?
Yeah, thank you. I think to be open-minded with the application process and also just your college choices. You may not have a certain college in your mind right now, but maybe a little later on down the line, you start to learn about different opportunities that a college has that you didn't know about. And that's a great opportunity to lean in. Don't be so narrow-minded when you're thinking about that one college you want to go to. Apply to more than one and continue to check your emails and communications so that you're learning about different things as you lead up to when you have to make your decision for college.
Awesome, thank you. Haverford College?
I think the best advice I can give is to be genuine. And I mean that both in when you're thinking about what you want to do, what you're interested in, genuinely think about it and think about what actually interests you and maybe not what you think you should do, but what you actually want to do. And then also when you're working on your applications, we want to know you. And so we want a genuine application. We want to genuinely hear from you.
Thanks so much. Adelphi University?
Yeah, I would say to use all of your resources. And you have so many, so keep that in mind. So, visit schools' websites, but also guidance counselors, teachers, ask your teachers what school they went to, what their experiences were like. If you know any seniors who graduated the past few years, reach out to them, do virtual tours, visit schools, like really just exhaust all of your resources because like everyone else is saying, you might think you're going into it wanting one thing and then the more you learn and the more you are exposed to, you realize that you're actually changing your minds and you want something completely different. So definitely use all of your resources.
Awesome, thank you. And Bowdoin College, what is your advice?
Wow, I think that's all such great advice. I guess to add, I would say I think there's so much hype around the admissions process and it can feel like you're being judged and you're being chosen. So I would encourage you to remember that you're making most of the choices in this process, right? So you're deciding where to apply and you ultimately get to decide where to go. So just remember that and think about schools critically and know that you do have a say in this and make sure that you're taking advantage of that choice that you have to pursue what you want to do, kind of similar to what Christina was saying.
Awesome, thank you. All great advice. Next, what is one thing you want students to remember about your school specifically? And we'll jump back to the University of Pittsburgh.
I would definitely recommend that you remember that we are in the city of Pittsburgh. Pittsburgh provides a number of different opportunities for students. Our campus is really unique. We're about 2 miles from downtown Pittsburgh. So our students really get the best of everything that sort of a larger city has to offer, still in that sort of combined college atmosphere, especially with the other universities and colleges. So I definitely recommend looking at our website, taking a virtual tour or maybe coming down to visit in person and really checking us out and see what we have to offer.
Thank you. Okay, Binghamton University, what is yours?
Yeah, I would say Binghamton University, one thing I do want to stress is our value. You're getting the full college experience with a state university like Binghamton, but given that we have our high top-notch education, you're getting that full experience for the affordable public rate. Also location-wise, we are at a perfect spot for you as New York City students because we're just close enough to home where if you want access to New York City on any given day, you can come back, but we're also far enough that you're going to get to experience something new with your college experience without having to go too far, ultimately giving you that full college experience for the affordable state university rate.
Thank you so much. Haverford College?
So at risk of sounding sort of like a broken record, I would just say that student voice is absolutely central to everything about Haverford. And that is true for everything about the student experience, that we want your voice to matter in every area of academics, of social life, but then that's also true for the admissions process. And we have created an admissions process that is centered around hearing from you.
Awesome. Thank you. Adelphi?
Yeah, so I'm going to say this because I think this is what was most impactful impactful for me as a student at Adelphi is our size. So we're, again, a medium-sized school. We have about 5,000 undergraduate, 3,000 graduate students, and our campus isn't huge either. You can literally get from like one side to the other in about 15 minutes walking. And so that was really big for me because I felt like the school was big enough to where I always had new experiences. I was always meeting new people. I had enough room to step outside of my comfort zone and take on leadership roles and do things that I normally wouldn't have imagined myself doing, but it was also small enough to where I had my home away from home. I had my support system. I knew other students, faculty members, and professors were really there to be a huge support system to me. So I kind of got like the best of both worlds, I think.
Thank you. Bowdoin College?
I think I want to emphasize Bowdoin's affordability. I think the sticker price, especially of private colleges, can be really scary. And so I want to re-emphasize just how affordable Bowdoin is. Lots of our students are on full need. I don't have the exact stat because it's about to go up with our newly admitted class, but I can share that our average grant is $55,000 with many students getting the full pay. So I just want to reiterate that because I think that's a really stressful part of this process and it's a really important part. So to be sure to look at student aid websites and reach out to student aid offices. I can't speak for other schools, but I'm pretty sure they're similar in that their student aid offices will speak to you with any questions you have, and being proactive about that is really the best thing you could do.
Awesome, thank you. All right, so my last question is, what is one myth you'd like to debunk on the college admissions process for our participants this evening? So Pittsburgh, you can kick us off again.
I think the biggest myth that I'd like to speak about is just sort of this idea that, you know, maybe there's like one factor that makes a student admissible or not admissible. I think most schools in this country, they practice a holistic review. So obviously your grades and your curriculum in the school that you're applying from is definitely probably going to be the biggest sort of thing that we're looking for initially, but we're really looking for well-rounded universities. Well-rounded students to apply to our universities. So I would just say, obviously you want to be strong both inside the classroom, but I think I speak for all of us when we say that we're really interested in individuals as well, and what you're doing outside of the classroom. So.
Thank you. Binghamton University.
I think similar to that, students a lot of times will think that there's one thing that they have to do to impress college admissions officers. And while I understand, wanting to put your best face forward, there isn't one student that we're looking for. If that were the case, we wouldn't have universities that have a diverse population on campus. Particularly at Binghamton, we're not just looking for students who can handle the work at Binghamton. We're looking for students who can contribute to the growing diversity, the growing student culture that is on our campus. And so we're looking for students who are participating in a wide array of activities outside of the classroom. We want to know who you are in the application process, and to make that clear to us in the application. Don't feel like you have to do certain activities just to impress us. We're going to be impressed by who you are ultimately, and so just make sure that comes out, and make sure that you're using the best of your time while you're still in high school.
Thank you. Haverford College.
Sort of along the same lines, I don't know if this counts as a myth, but often students will think of admission counselors like us as people who aren't people. We are people, and when we're reading your applications, we're reading them as humans. We want to connect with you on a human level, and so that's really, really important to us. We don't have a checklist of like, you have to have X, Y, and Z to be perfect. We understand everyone in this process is human, and there's lots of room for human error and also lots of room for creativity and for diversity and difference in every possible way. And so that's a really important element of every single part of this process.
Thank you. Adelphi?
I would say the pressure of needing to have it all figured out. So if you don't know what you want to study, or if you're in between two majors, or if you don't know if you want a big school or small school, whatever it is, explore your options. You don't need to have everything figured out while you're going through the college admissions process. That's exactly what we're all here for. That's exactly why schools have so many different options. So don't feel the need to again, have that all figured out and feel like if you don't, you're doing something wrong. That's not the case at all.
Thank you. And Bowdoin?
I think there's so much hype around the college essay, understandably, because it's one of the few things that's still really actively in your control right now as you go through this process. Similar to what a lot of my colleagues have said, the essay is not a make or break moment. You don't need to astound us and wow us with a subject topic we've never seen before, right? So just write about yourself and share your values and make sure you check for grammar. That's really all we're looking for. So if that helps to depressurize the essay writing process a little bit, I hope that can make it a more enjoyable writing process for you.
Wonderful. Thank you. Alrighty, and with that, I'm going to wrap things up here. So I want to send a huge thank you to our presenters for all the information you put together and for spending this evening with us. Thank you to our participants for joining us as well. When you close this window, there will be a link to a very quick 5-question survey. We really appreciate any feedback you can provide. We encourage you to check back to the schedule and sign up for more sessions. You'll be able to find this session's recording as well as all the other recordings at strivescan.com/BrooklynTech. And that is it for the evening. Thank you so much again. Bye-bye.